So, a very warm welcome to all of you to another interesting session by of our loved series Once Upon a Leader. Before we get into today's session, please allow me a couple of minutes to talk about a few of our upcoming sessions. For our Leader in New Circle session, we have a special book that we will be discussing, exploring, called Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, a powerful take on leading with empathy and responsibility. The book unravels the idea that most teams don't break loudly, they slowly disconnect. Deadlines are being met, targets are being achieved, but the trust is slowly eroding. Great leadership isn't about pushing harder, it's about creating safety, trust, and real connection. So we invite all the women leaders to connect, grow, and lead authentically. The link for the same will be mentioned in the chat. The next offering that we have is an impactful one called Leverage the Power of Inner Patterns. Have you ever felt a voice that is saying, don't make a mistake, just do it, handle it alone? And that doesn't go away. It quietly shapes how you work and relate to things. These are the drivers that subconsciously form patterns early on and are influencing you even today. On 16th of May, Mrs. Shanti Sharma and Ms. Shivani Mansingh are hosting a half-day workshop at Tree House to explore exactly this. What you will be going through in this session, you will understand what your dominant patterns are, see where they help and where they don't, and also learn about how can we work with them better. The next offering is one that personally excites me the most, called Trailblazing Teens, where we are trying to shape our next generation. Have you ever seen a teenage second guessing themselves and deciding to just go along with the crowd, or they are struggling to speak up? And this session is exactly designed for them, where we are allowing our teenagers to lead with clarity and confidence. It is a 10-day session for teenagers aged 13 to 17, where they are going to understand what truly matters to them, own their strengths, face their fears, and handle failure better. Set goals that actually work and lead in their own unique way. This session is going to be held in two modes, online on Zoom and offline in Whitefield area. The link for all these sessions that I have just mentioned will be there in the chat box. Please do explore them. Now, without further delay, I am obliged to invite our host for the day, Mrs. Shanti Sharma. She has many feathers to her cap. She is a founder, author, leadership, and team coach, a facilitator, and a mentor who is passionate about helping people grow with over 28 years of experience in the field of L&D. Excited to kick off this mythical session with her. Over to you, Shanti ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. It always feels good when somebody introduces you. I enjoy that. Uh, and happy to be with everyone here on this another episode of Once Upon a Leader. A little bit before we actually get started, and in the context of what this series is, it's a space where we slow down for a moment, think about leadership differently, and we do it through stories, not through frameworks or textbook. And that's what brings uniqueness to what we do here in the couple of hours we are together. Um, we know leadership is not learned only through slides and theories, but it is shaped through moments that we see, observe, listen, experience. And we are trying to bring in experiences from history, from mythology, from stories we've heard around the world to see what we can learn from them. So each month we bring one mythology, history, or modern workplace story. We talk about the real dilemmas we face related to modern day world, whether it be about power or ethics or influence or courage. And it depends. Every story brings in a set of different flavors that we talk through. This isn't intended to be a lecture workshop. So you will not see any slides. I'll just bring up one slide for feedback towards the end. Otherwise, there are no slides. And there are no rights and wrongs in this session. It is about sharing, it is about thinking, it is about reflecting. The idea is we create a reflective space where we discuss what we are noticing in the story, what it means to us. And for each one of us, it may hold a very different meaning. We've explored Ashoka, Ekalavya, Sisyphus, and now we turn to Samudra Manthan. And as I say that with lots of awareness that the story that we present here may not be the only version. You know, mythology is always retellings, and storytelling has happened over the years and centuries and ages. That there may be other versions of the same story available. Totally respect that. The idea is not to side one version or the other, but it's based upon my research, my study. I pick one version and I bring it to all of us so that we can explore further. It is not about the story being right, wrong, good, bad, better than the other, not better than the other. The idea is, can we at least work with one version? And very happy to hear from others who are able to point out that, you know, here is another version that has a different perspective. Very happy to hear about all of those. So with that, I am hoping to get started now. I will read the story itself. I don't want to miss out any part. So apologies if I'm not looking at you and you see me reading from a Word document. The idea is I want to ensure that I'm covering all the aspects of the Samudra Manthan story. Are we ready? Awesome. All right. In the vast expanse of cosmic time, there came a moment where the Devas, the gods, found themselves weakened. Their strength had faded and their influence diminished. The balance of power had shifted in the favor of the Asuras, what we know as demons. The Devas needed a way to regain their vitality. They turned to Lord Vishnu, the preserver, for guidance. Vishnu did not offer a weapon, he instead offered a process. Churn the ocean of milk, he said, and from it will emerge Amrita, the nectar of immortality. But there was a catch. The task was too vast for Devas to manage all by themselves. They would need to collaborate with the very Asuras they were in conflict with. Reluctantly and very uneasily, the alliance was formed. To churn the ocean, they needed a churning rod and a rope. Mount Mandara became the churning rod, and the great serpent Vasuki became the rope. The Devas held one end, the Asuras held the other. They began, they pulled, they strained, they churned. But almost immediately, the mountain began to sink to the bottom of the ocean. Seeing this, Vishnu took the form of Kurma, the great tortoise, and positioned itself beneath the mountain. Steady, silent, bearing all the weight. Only then would the churning continue. As the ocean, may I request people to be on mute, please? Thank you. As the ocean churned, it did not yield nectar, the Amrit. Instead, something far more dangerous surfaced. A deadly poison known as halahala. It spread rapidly, threatening to destroy all existence. Panic followed. In that critical moment, Shiva stepped forward. Shiva, yes, the destroyer. Yet, without hesitation, he consumed the poison, holding it in his throat to protect the universe. His throat turned blue, earning him the name Nilkant. Only after confronting the poison would the process continue. As the churning went on, the ocean began to reveal its hidden riches. Out came Goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity. Kamadhenu, the wish-fulfilling cow. Airavat, the celestial elephant. Kalpavriksha, the divine wish-fulfilling tree. Several apsaras, the celestial beings of grace and beauty. Each emergence brought excitement, distraction, and desire. But the churning did not stop. Finally, after sustained effort, patience, and turbulence, Dhanvantari appeared, carrying a pot of Amrita, the nectar of immortality. But even then, the process was not complete. The Asuras, driven by desire, seized the nectar. Once again, imbalance threatened the outcome. This time, Vishnu intervened, taking the form of Mohini, enchanting and strategic. He got hold of the nectar from the Asuras, redistributing the nectar to the Devas and hence restoring balance. The story of Samudra Manthan is not just about gods and demons, it is about the process. Collaboration between opposing forces, the inevitability of toxicity before transformation, the need for stability beneath chaos, the discipline to continue despite distraction, the stepping in of leadership or authority at the right time, and the patience required before true value emerges. The ocean is always full of treasures, but they only surfaced through sustained churning. Every system has its devas and asuras. Every transformation surfaces its poison before its potential. Every meaningful outcome demands endurance. The question is not whether we are churning. The question is whether we have the patience to stay with the process long enough for the nectar to appear. Thank you for staying with me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What are you thinking right now as you heard the story?
Reminds me of one of my boss. When you go to them with a problem, they would ask you to do 10 different steps. I was at a very junior level at that point in time, and I used to be worried that I will not go to my boss asking the solution because he will double my work.
Yeah.
But in fact, that's how the problem solving works. There's a process to it. It cannot be spoon fed or just given on a platter.
Lovely. You have to earn it. Brilliant. Thanks, Ishita. Anyone else? Any reflection on what? Okay, let's start looking at the various aspects as I narrated the story. First one, Vishnu did not offer the weapon, he offered a process. And like Ishita said, my manager did not give it to me easy. He said, go follow the process. And there were no quick fixes to what we wanted. Um, let's start thinking about where are we choosing quick wins over building a strong process in our lives, at work, at home, wherever it. Just unmute and speak. You don't need to um, raise hand or wait for anything. Any thought that comes to your mind, just anyone wants me to repeat the question? So
Yeah.
we heard in the story that Vishnu did not offer a weapon; he offered a process. Yeah, but in real life, we tend to take those shortcuts. We don't want to follow the process, and we want to get to quick wins, shortcuts. Where in our life might we be doing that right now?
Using the chatbots to write our emails
Awesome.
at times,
Ab-
or even, just a quick report fixed by the AI tools.
Spot on, Abha. I read the Samudra Manthan story from at least five, six places. I dictated to Word and gave it to ChatGPT to, clean it up in the form of a story. So yeah, we all use AI as a shortcut. Thank you. What else?
Maybe to pay the debt, we take another debt for
Could you repeat that, Sunil?
yeah, to clear one loan, we take another loan. So
Spot
we keep
on.
on ourselves debt and debt.
Busy and engaged. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so glad there is realization that there are many instances where we are taking shortcuts instead of following the right process. Um, so why are we prioritizing speed instead of sustainability? What is it that tells us get ChatGPT to do it, get a loan, get over it? What is it that's nudging us to do things at speed rather than sustainably?
Because we always believe like we have very less time in our hand. But if we go by process, we divide our entire day into the minutes and then minutes into seconds. Then we eventually find out like yes, we have time in our hand to do the things driven by the process.
Absolutely. The belief that we don't have time, time is running out, pushes us to focus towards speed rather than sustainability. Very interesting. Anyone else?
Actually, this running out of time concept comes from the West. Devdutt Patnaik writes in most of his books about this concept, that West looks at having one life, and but then usually the Asian cultures believe in rebirth, and it's infinity for them. If I'm not able to do it right now, that doesn't slow it down. Everything has a time to do, but things do not slow down because it's an infinity. But you have to keep doing it until you are perfect. That's the belief that Indian mythology also brings a lot of time. So yeah, we do have time, but we were kind of sidetracked
Yeah.
because of many other reasons.
I don't remember the exact verse in Gita only that says, time was always there, is always there, will always be there. Nobody has time, nobody lacks time. And, it is omnipresent. It is what you do in that time is what makes it matter and not. So, yeah, absolutely. We believe that time always is there, exists. And what you do makes it more useful. No, how we've forgotten what our wisdom has taught us and quickly running after. We are running out of time. Yes. What can we do instead? Let me rephrase the question. What do we want to do to move from chasing time to
The the only answer that comes to my mind is that being present in the moment, being aware of what you're doing. Neither your past nor your future is in your control, and only the present can help you being aware and slow you down and bring you a lot more sustainability than anything else.
being present? Thanks, Abha. Anyone else? What will help us stick to a process rather than take shortcuts, chase time, do the right thing? I don't know whether we are thinking or we don't know the answer. So some response would help. And we don't need to know the answer. It's just our perspective. What is it that we can do to stay sustainable, to not chase time, to not chase shortcuts, rather focus on quality and sustainability?
I feel there are some generations, please bring back the conversation back to Samudra Manthan, I have gone to generations, that there are a couple of generations who have understood being busy is a good thing. Doing things fast is a good thing. Would be because of the privatization, industrialization, and how the government offices used to work versus how the private offices used to work. That could be one of the reasons that added up to all this. I haven't read anything like that. This is just a guesswork. With that in mind, if you see the newer generations, they are usually not in hurry. They have very different priorities, and the self is one of the biggest priorities, or at the top level, top three at least. Which is good. Maybe somewhere something got lost.
Lost, yeah. Priorities became money, priorities became having a house, a car, a big designation, a big salary. Absolutely.
Can I add something here?
Yes,
Anand
hi
here.
Anand. Welcome.
Hi. I'm sorry, I'm not able to put my camera on.
No worries.
Yeah, and I joined in a little late, but what I just heard about is so what I heard and what I have read somewhere is there is this book called My Ishmael and My Ishmael. It's written by Daniel Quinn, and it's about our civilization that is presently existing vis-a-vis the civilization that existed 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So in that he says that we are the only people who will grow food and then lock it up and then slog to buy that same food and eat it.
Yeah.
Whereas food is abundantly available everywhere for everyone. And I mean, people like us 10,000 years ago. So he divides the category into the givers and the takers or something like that. So where people earlier on lived in harmony with the universe, with the environment, and they had actually a great life. Yes, they didn't have computers and they didn't have AI and all of those things.
Yeah.
We have all of those things, but are we living the right way? Is what he questions, and he says there. In fact, he's put in so it's one of the best books that I've read. So I'm not sure if this is relevant to the topic, but I thought it was in terms of.
Absolutely relevant, Anand. Anand, would you mind putting the book in the chat for all the other participants?
Yes, I will.
Yeah. So to give
Yes.
a little bit of context, Anand, since you joined late, we just heard the story of Samudra Manthan, the entire story, starting from why and what happened until the Devas getting the Amrit. We are taking various aspects of the story and deliberating. The first aspect we
Right.
picked was, why did Vishnu not give away the Amrit, rather ask the Devas to follow the process? Related
Right.
to, why are humans tempted to take shortcuts rather than follow the process? When following the process, slowing down, being present, being mindful is far more helpful. So absolutely, please, all relevant. So please do add the book in the chat and we'd be.
Yes, I will.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, people, before we can move on to the next concept in this?
So, just this entire story that when I heard this, uh, I had seen a post on LinkedIn. And I felt like I could relate to this now when I'm talking about this. When Vishnu is asking the Devas to go through this entire process, and the Asuras also there, they're trying to win over each other.
Yeah.
So there was this beautiful, illustration on LinkedIn that I had come across. So the picture is a giraffe is sitting, a cow is sitting, then you have a number of animals, and two aliens are also sitting. And the two aliens are talking to each other, and then they are saying that I do not understand humans. They spend billions to go and explore another planet, and they spend billions to destroy this planet,
Yeah.
and they are actually looking at the war that's happening.
Yeah.
So when I heard this, it reminded me of that particular illustration where we are constantly trying to, where we could have just collaborated.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that's the theme of the book that Anand was mentioning. No, and there's this cute meme that says, when you're a child, you have energy and you have time, you don't have money. When you are young, you don't have time, but you have energy and you have money. When you have all the energy and all the time, you have all the money and all the time, you don't have energy when you are old. So ultimately, we are chasing something that we'll probably never achieve uh, when we want everything under the sun. Lovely discussions. Anything else anybody wants to add before? Thanks, Anand.
Most welcome.
Yeah, let's move on to a different aspect of the story. When Vishnu told the Devas to churn, only then they will get Amrit. The whole task was so humongous that they had no choice but to collaborate with those that they were in conflict with. They had to take the help and support of the Devas in order to complete the task. I want us to reflect and see, where at work are we avoiding collaborating because we are there is a conflict of thought, values, beliefs, perspectives. So there is some sort of a conflict, and hence we are avoiding collaboration.
So just an example from one of the organizations that I'd worked for, there we had two departments. One was the experience team or the delivery team, and the other one was the sales team. Now, unfortunately, the two teams were always in conflict because they always felt when the customer is there, you cannot say that, it was there, they said this, but I am not responsible for it. This was not something that can be said. But unfortunately, we were conveying this message to the customer that you've spoken to the sales team, please go and ask the sales team. I am not responsible.
Yeah.
So we had to bring them together. We had to make them understand that please understand that you may be divided internally, but when you are with the customer, you need to put up a front that we are together.
Wonderful. So when there is a unifying purpose, then it's easier to collaborate, even if there are differing perspectives or there's a conflict.
Yes.
So I think, very similar to what Akanksha said. So while I worked at the bank
Mhm.
and I was in sales for a long time, so what I observed is also we sales guys, what we do is that we promise the moon to the customer
Hmm.
uh, before the deal is done. And we tell the customer that we are the one stop guy who or girl who will do everything for you, whatever you want, you just let us know and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But the moment the deal is done, and when the customer comes with an operational issue saying that my checkbook hasn't come or my debit card pin hasn't come or whatever, then we become traffic policemen,
Yeah.
and we say, "No, ये तो मैं नहीं देखता
Not
हूँ,
my team, the
वो
other
department
team.
देखता है." वो
Yes.
वो department देखा है and this department. So we do this a lot, the sales guys, which is not right. Obviously, you need
Absolutely.
to take ownership and you need to work in collaboration with the operations team.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah. And that so ruins the brand of the bank or
absolutely,
organization that,
absolutely. Because and because you actually promise the moon to the customer, and then when he's already given the money and he's started the relationship, and now you're turning your back on him and you're not responding to him or
Mhm.
her for that matter. It really paints a very poor picture in the mind of the customer, and that customer is going to go and tell 10 more people that do not bank with
Do not engage. Yeah.
XYZ bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. What makes it difficult to collaborate with somebody with conflicting ideology?
So I think, in my opinion, we are all looking at it from a very short, in a myopic way.
Hmm.
And I'm seeing that happen even now while I am the customer.
Hmm.
In so many places that we are just looking ki bhai, I have to get this customer somehow. Once that is done, now my job is over. Now I have to move on to the next customer,
Hmm.
or potential customer. We are not looking at how, being with that customer, once the customer has become your customer, the potential customer has become your customer, how being with that customer, spending a little more, investing a little more time with that will actually lead you to more customers on this customer through references.
Yeah.
Um, I think we don't look at it that way. We're just looking at it in silos that this is, what I want to do. Probably the operations team is now also not looking at it because it's also sometimes the operational team's fault, So it's both ways. It's not only the
It is
sales
both
guys.
ways.
Yeah. And I think they also just look at it from the point of operational. They're not looking at it from the customer service point of view. Uh, you know, Sometimes they quote policies. They say these things cannot be done. Whereas actually those things can be done if, we kind of
If
balance it
people
or
really
tweak
put
it a
their
bit.
heart to it, they can really help. But it's not that
Correct.
assumption that who would go that extra mile? That would be so complex. I would need 5 more approvals. What would others say?
Correct.
So we stay in our comfort zone, not take that additional step. And you brought a lovely point, Anand, that the teams in conflict, sales and operations in your example, uh,
Right.
don't put in that effort to understand the other team's perspective. It always becomes I am right, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're saying, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm saying, and uh, then things fall through the cracks. Any other thoughts? That what would it take for you to be able to collaborate with somebody who has a conflicting ideology? how will the sales team and the operations team collaborate when they don't like to see it?
I think the one thing that we did and it did help us was role switching.
Yeah.
So we asked them that, okay, since you are not understanding the pain point of the other team, why don't you guys switch roles? It
Brilliant.
was, I'm not saying that it's feasible for everyone. In the company where I was working, it was feasible, and it was not for a long duration. It was for a very short duration where just one, even one person also, if they come and step into, the other team's shoes, they do understand, and then they'll go back and talk to their team members ki, no, they do have it difficult.
Absolutely. I think only when you step into the other person's shoes, you actually realize how much of a work they do. I am a cribber in terms of the way my mates do work. ये साफ नहीं हुआ, वो साफ नहीं हुआ, उधर रह गया, उधर रह गया. And now they're all back to their hometowns for voting. And now is when you realize, oh my God, they used to do that also, and that you're missing. Absolutely. Just stepping into the other person's shoes and seeing how much of an effort goes to put things back in its place, to sweep, to ensure that everything is in order. And it is human to be able to, to just forget, to do one place, to clean one place, to clean one surface. It is so human. But that realization comes only when you are in their shoes. Thank you, Akansha.
So, if I may just add, Shanti, so to completely agree with what Akanksha said and what you said, but yeah, we need to look at whether that's feasible or not. So, I'll give you an example. So, while I was at Axis Bank, when I joined Axis Bank way back, fresh, I was put in a cash counter in a semi-urban branch. And so the load was huge. The blue collar workers were not really very nice to me in the sense that they would be rude. They would sometimes even give me bad words and all of those things. And I would keep complaining to my wife about it because you can't say anything. You need to just do your work. But then I remember I went to a McDonald's with her during that time, and the guys there behind the counter were were loaded with work. It wasn't like they were chatting on the phone or something like that. It was rush hour, and they were really loaded with work. And my wife was getting really irritated with the time taken for them to give us our order. And that is when I realized I put myself in their shoes. And I told my wife, look, all of them are super busy, kind of working on all of our orders. But probably they're not, the manpower is not enough to deal with it. So I think we need to empathize with that, and we need to, just wait. If they promise 5 minutes, it may take 6 minutes, 7 minutes, but I think we can do that. And that experience really hit me hard because I actually put myself in their shoes because I was in the cash counter. Here they were behind the counter getting the fries and the burgers and everything ready. So I think, yeah, when we put ourselves in somebody else's shoes, it really helps us.
Absolutely. And what has helped me when I'm not able to put myself in the other person's shoes is to believe that nobody comes in with bad, wrong, ill intentions. Everybody is well intentioned, but how it shows up, how things pan out may look and feel different. No team member, no employee wants to do a bad job. No manager wants to lead a bad team. No manager wants to lead a team badly. None of this is true, but it just happens. People are not able to keep up. So yeah, totally agree. Anything else?
Also, since sorry, somebody else is speaking.
After you, Anand.
Okay, so sorry, Ishita. So I'm a big fan of mythology, and Mahabharata is one of my favorites. Of course, it's probably not mythology, but it's an epic. But I'm a big fan of Mahabharata, and Karna is my hero. And yeah, and so Karna joined hands with the Kauravas, even though their ideologies were not the same.
Yeah.
Right? And he joined hands because of the way Duryodhan treated him vis-a-vis how the others treated him and all of those things. I don't know why I came up with this example, but I just feel that somewhere if you put your basic differences aside and work for the common objective or a common goal,
Absolutely.
yes,
The
so
differences
probably
won't matter. The differences won't
yes,
matter. For both the Kauravas and Karna, the objective was Pandava's defeat. And
yes.
they worked towards it despite having very different ideologies. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Lovely example.
And in that context, I'd also recommend a book called Ajaya, which is on the Mahabharata, but with a very different perspective. I love that book.
Yes.
I guess people have read it. You've read it, Shanti?
I have read it.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of mythology retellings.
In line with what Anand just mentioned, sometimes it just takes somebody to just hold each other's hand who are having difficult time collaborating, to just bring them together on one table, show your vulnerability, show each other's vulnerability, and start talking. Often at times there is something hidden which either of the people don't know. This happened when, so in one of my previous organizations, there was little disruption in terms of their culture that they wanted to hold. They had a Bible kind of thing. They called it 100 points. And whenever I got the opportunity to discuss about the basics that are expected from every employee, I used to always bring two people together, two teams together, where I noticed that there are a lot of disruptions. So usually for the team that I was leading at that point in time, I noticed that everything that went wrong was either accounts team's mistake or was the mistake of the boys who are on the field.
Yes.
It cannot never go just one-sided, and I know that. So I took that opportunity while leading this discussion. And there was a dedicated time that we used to have this discussion, and to bring the vulnerability out of both the teams and have them talk. It felt like heated for a minute, but eventually they understood each other's point of view, the problems that they face, the challenges that they have. Accounts team will always say, okay, send me an email, I will take care of it, or I will take it forward. And which did not go very well with my team. For everything, I am going for extra break is also something that you need on an email. That doesn't work. So yeah, they understood why everything is required. And then the accounts team also understood that there are few things which are not required in the email that can be taken care of through other channels if needed in writing, which brought us to having very less heated, less pinpointing, blaming team meetings, team huddles that we used to have in the morning. And I felt that really worked wonders for my team.
Thank you for that example, Ishita. मुझे एक चीज याद आ रही है. There's saying in Hindi, गलती एक ही चीज होती है जो और सबकी हो सकती है, खुद की नहीं हो सकती. So exactly. And that happens, right? Whenever there's fault, it is somebody else's. And when we go in with that mindset, collaborating becomes difficult unless, as you mentioned, can we share what is troubling us, what is difficult for us, what is our situation scenario, explain it to the other person, give them that perspective that they don't have, and see if the bridges. Any other thoughts?
Just adding to what Ishita mentioned. So we did the same thing. And I think one very important thing that I understood during that is you need a very strong mediator.
Yeah.
To conduct such meetings where you have one person or one team and the other team who are, constantly locking horns, you need a very strong mediator, like we see Vishnu, intervening in this situation.
And I was about to call it in our story, Vishnuji was that intermediary between the Asuras and the Devas who nudged them to say, all right, let the Amrit go wasted if you don't want to collaborate. And when the Devas initially said, no, we can't collaborate with Asuras, they are the, they kill, they destroy, and we we love you, we offer to you, we take care of you. How can you ask us to collaborate with them? That was a beautiful thing that Vishnuji did to ensure that they are working together. Curious, why do you think Vishnuji would have done that? Why did he could have created, it was all in his power to just give away the Amrit to the Devas. Why do you think he made it so difficult for the Devas to get the Amrit? Collaborate with people you don't like, then you churn the ocean, then from that comes poison and all the unpleasant things first, and 101 other distracting things before you actually get to the Amrit. Why was it so tedious?
Can I just add something here?
Yes, please.
So again, I'm a believer in karma, and so through my life there have been ups and downs, and there have been very difficult phases, and there have been good phases, and so on. And today I realized that those difficult phases were deliberately inputted in my life for me to learn something.
Yeah.
Those toxic bosses, those difficult colleagues, whatever, those relationship issues. It's there for us to learn something which we've not learned earlier, probably. Otherwise, I think the universe would have just given it easily to you and said that, okay, have fun. But because we all of us are here for various purposes, and it is for us to learn. So just to quote an example, so in 2006-7, I was working with a boss with whom I had a terrific rapport, and I was doing extremely well. He gave me the freedom to work. He told me I was in sales, and he said, if you finish your call at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, feel free to go home. You don't have to come back and report to me and all of those things. But at the end of the month, I will ask you, what is the business you've got? At that time, don't tell me that I worked 10 hours and 12 hours, I sat till 9 o'clock. I don't want to hear any of those things. So he said, but if you're leaving early by 4 o'clock or whatever, just let me know that you're leaving, and that's fair enough. And it was brilliant for me because I love to get back home by 5, 6 or so, and then spend time with my children and my family and all that. Cut to 2007, mid 2007, 2008, when my boss was replaced by another person who unfortunately had a completely different way of looking at things. And also he had some dynamics going with my earlier boss. And that, kind of seeped into my relationship with my current boss now. I mean, the one who just took over. I started expecting him to behave like my previous boss, which obviously was not feasible at all because both were distinct personalities. And you'll not believe it, I spiraled down. I spiraled down after a huge high in 2007, 2006, 2007. I spiraled down because I could not work with this guy. I found this guy toxic. It was affecting me mentally. It was affecting my personal life and all of those things. And I kept telling myself that this guy is a villain in my life. But as I evolved, I realized that Tali do haath se bachti hai. It is not one person. It is the way I have been expecting him to respond. I have been expecting him to work, which is not fair on my part. I have to keep two people, two bosses separate and work according to how they would want me to work. And when I actually tried to put that in place a little, from being like at loggerheads for everything, we kind of reached the mid-level where we could at least work, towards a common goal, and where, things were better between us. I'm not saying that I had a great time, but from how toxic it was for me, it became workable. It became something where we could actually work together and stuff like that. So I think that is important to look at not only that what the other people is doing or what you're expecting the other people, because then actually you're giving the remote control of your life to somebody else.
Thanks for sharing, Ganan. Did you see any mediator in the process?
Yeah, so what happened is, so again, I joined because it was really a bad time for me. I tried various things. I even went for a Reiki healing kind of a thing, where the first thing that lady there asked me to do is to forgive my boss. And I said, "What nonsense are you talking about? This guy has ruined my life, and you're asking me to forgive him."
Yeah.
And I actually didn't do the course. I walked out of that course saying that it's nonsense. You're asking me to forgive the guy who's like ruined my life. But I joined a course called Landmark. I'm not propagating it, but I joined a course called Landmark Forum,
Yeah.
and that really helped me to kind of understand what is important for me, what is not important for me, and all of those things. And that helped me actually at that time. So
Lovely.
maybe that course could have been a mediator.
A mediator. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, let's move on to another aspect. When the churning was happening, the first thing that emerged was poison, and thankfully for Shivji to have contained it. But when there is churn at the workplace, definitely things that emerge are not pleasant. There is lots of blaming, there is lots of finger pointing, there is lots of naming, shaming, arguments, disagreement. You versus us, I am superior, you are superior. We see all of that happen. How do you handle that? No worries, Rashmi. Thanks for joining. Please unmute and share whatever thoughts come to
I think when things like this happen in a workplace, we need to understand that behind these unpleasant situations that we are going through, there is something that we are trying to achieve, which is bigger than all of us.
you. Yeah.
So when you also asked this question, why do you think Vishnuji asked all of them to collaborate? He could have just given it to the devas.
Yes.
So when something is handed to you in a platter, either you feel like you may question yourself that do I deserve it, or you don't value it.
Absolutely.
So when the devas are actually when they go back and they'll probably tell the stories to their future generations, they'll be like, you have no idea how much effort we took. We had to collaborate with the asuras also. So that is the level of how do I put it, sacrifice that we had to make to get this for us.
Yeah.
So I think when something like this is happening and the poison is coming out. So just going back to the previous example that I did provide about the conflict between the sales team and the delivery team,
Mm.
was this that when once they started connecting with each other after the meetings, initially the meetings were very heated, very heated, where it would lead to a fight also.
Yeah.
But ultimately, after a couple of meetings going by every Mondays is when we used to have this meeting. So after this meeting has gone by every Monday, after 5, 6 Mondays, we've understood that they have started to work in a tandem with each other.
Spot on.
Now,
Spot on.
now when a conflict is being raised by the customer, then they can say that, okay, can you please wait and let me just quickly check, and then I'll definitely revert to you.
Yeah.
Whether it's the delivery team or is the experience team, whichever way it is, they quickly check with each other that let me just check with them. Before saying anything to the customer, it's better to go and check back with my team member. They
Mm.
understood that it is not sales team, delivery team, it's my team.
Lovely. And I so believe that when you go through the hardships together, the ownership of the outcome is that much more stronger. When only one part, one side of the team has worked harder and the other team has had it easier, I think then the ownership of the outcome is also skewed. So when everybody has that common purpose, works towards it together, and um, deals with the same kinds of hardships in a story, The Poison, I think their ability to take ownership of the outcome is far more harmonious. And I loved your point, Akanksha, where you said, there has to be turmoil before calm, before peace. We know that the team goes through that whole, forming, storming, norming, performing, reforming. They have to go through that cycle anyhow to reach performing, and they know it will also come down again. So it's that
Yes.
journey that we have to keep traversing. Thank you.
Thank you.
They say nothing comes free.
Yeah.
So even this never came.
This didn't come free. And I can't just say, right? When it is given to you free, you don't value it as much. We had launched a zero cost coaching program. There were so many people who just, and yes, now we've made it paid. There are fewer registrations, but at least those who register make full use of it. So yeah, anything that is offered free is not as valued as, even if it's a small amount that you pay for it. I think that seriousness, that attention is far more than when offered free. Yeah, so Vishnuji made it sure that Devas are paying a price for the Amrit that they'll. Let's turn to Shiva, who decided to consume the poison and not harm either the Devas or the Asuras. How many of us have been the Shiva at any point in time saying that, okay, I will consume the poison, it should not harm? We all have been. We all have been.
I think once you're in a position of a manager, you end up being Shiva, whether you want to be it or not. It's inevitable. You try and keep the harmony. So that's your main aim, that let there be harmony. And it's okay, I don't know if it's the right approach or not, but then we do tend to think that it's okay, I'll stretch a bit. It's okay, I'll do it. So,
yeah,
yes.
We can't justify what Shiva did was right or not, but in that moment, that did move things forward. And as leaders, I think one of our responsibilities is to drink that poison so that the team can move forward. Otherwise, the team will get stuck, or everybody has the poison and dies. What's the point? So it is inevitable that leaders have to drink that poison. Thank you. What else?
I was just trying to gather my thoughts, and I think Akanksha did it very well. It's very similar for me also, that when I am in a position where I'm getting input from the higher hierarchy, and I'm the one managing between the people placed, who are in my team, then with that sense of responsibility, I might have been able to take the poison multiple times. But when it is a discussion where let's say it's a meeting, a board meeting, where decisions are being finalized, it is not enforced, unlike the previous situation. So when it is being finalized, then I don't take the poison. I feel like I can fight it out.
Yeah.
So those are my feelings.
Lovely. You bring out a very different aspect, Rashmi. You are so confident of your capabilities. That is why you are able to withstand that poison. Shiva knew he is not going to die. Shiva knew he will feel hurt, but he will still survive. And hence he took that risk. And as leaders, you need to be confident of your capabilities as you step into take that poison. Thank you. A perspective I hadn't thought of until you mentioned.
Just to ask something rather. So that this is what I have heard of, that when Shivji is actually consuming the poison, it is Parvati who keeps her hand on his throat to stop it from spreading further.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just to relate this to, the real life thing that Rashmi just said, or we were just discussing about it, that even when a manager is actually stepping in, it is the support of, probably the people, whether it is family, anything. That is where they can also have the strength that it's okay, I'll do it.
There are people
to maintain it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we all have the capability of being the Shiva at many point in time.
Yeah.
At work, we often look at as, okay, if I take the heat right now, I will get something in the future.
Correct.
And that's always an expectation. Why I say that there is always a capability in us, we as individuals, when we are at home or with our own people, take an example of a parent who settled down for a hatchback instead of a sedan. because they have their child's education to take care of. Or maybe elderly mother who is just trying to fit in her things in a limited space so that the children get enough space to play, to work, to live around. There are a lot of, I mean, we all have Shiva inside, but then sometimes we choose that I will get something in return, but sometimes we let go. Maybe, and when we choose to be Shiva, of course, like Akansha mentioned, there's always one more support behind it. That yes, okay, we are ready for this. We can do this.
Yeah, yeah. And when that support comes unexpectedly, Vishnuji knew the process. First poison, so many other things. Apsaras to distract the two parties, the Asuras and the Devas. Knowingly, he said, go churn. What could have been the thought behind uh, allowing them to deal with? In fact, the story actually goes when the Asuras run after the Apsaras, the Devas will call them back, please, please, please come back. And the moment Airavat appeared, the Devas were like, oh, dear Airavat, can you take us for a ride? And then Asuras would bring them back, please come back, focus on churning, don't go away. So the story really talks about the two parties bringing back the attention to the churning. But why did Vishnu actually introduce the distraction?
Who wants to see the dedications of gods and Asura?
A little louder, Rishabh.
Vishnu want to see the dedications of God and Asura.
Yeah, to sharpen their saw. Yeah, how much are you getting distracted? How much self-control do you have? That was a test that the two parties had to pass before they could claim the pot of Amrit. Yeah. Have your leaders tested you like this? Put you through distractions and later on told you I was testing you whether you're able to withstand? And the leader could be here anybody, your bosses, your elder siblings, your parents, your grandparents, your teachers. It could be anyone.
Yes, because I think it's not only about what you get at the end, it's also about the learning that you've had through the process. Because, if I'm being thrown under the bus, do I understand that, yes, I need to get up and run? Or just wait that, yes, please come and save me? So I think that is one thing. And then, of course, as Rishabh mentioned, to see how strong you are. Are you going to be happy or content with whatever is coming? Because, of course, Lakshmi ji did come. Then Kamdenu did arrive. And then I forgot the term for the tree. So they could have been happy with that also. Ki, "Acha, theek hai. This is the byproduct of it, but that it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I can be happy with it." But how focused on your goal are you?
Lovely.
That this is my aim and I am going to achieve it no matter what.
Yeah, so real, right? There are always distractions when you're trying to achieve your goal that make it easier to settle. And you would have heard a lot of leaders say, aim for the stars. Even if you fall, you will land on the moon. So somewhere you are, settling for the moon. And true.
So I have an example. But it's not really exactly a distraction. So in 2006-07, when I said I was working with a boss whom I was getting along well with, I did extremely well. I had exceeded all my targets and all of those things. So it was a time for your performance evaluation. And we needed to do a self-evaluation and submit it to our bosses to say that these are the things that I've done and this is what I expect in terms of a rating or whatever. So you needed to put a rating also. So our rating was 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. So I put in my data and I described what I've done, and then I put my rating as 5. And when I submitted it, it went to my boss. And after a day or so, he called me into his cabin and he said, I've gone through your evaluation and all those things, and I see that you've given yourself a 5. I said, yes, I've achieved all my targets and blah blah blah. So he said, is this the best that you can ever be? Don't you think there is scope for improvement? So I said, yeah, of course there is scope for improvement. So then he says, and how then did you give yourself 5? Shouldn't you give 4 to yourself? So I said, no, but I'm also due for a promotion and blah, blah, blah. He said, take that aside. Do you think you can improve? And all of those things. I said, yeah, I think I can improve and blah. So he actually made me said, go back and put yourself as 4. And I put myself as 4, and I was so upset about it because I thought my chances of promotion has come down and, all of those things. But after a couple of months, when the entire thing came out, even though he made me put it as 4, he had put it as 5 for me, and I got promoted. But it was also just to show me that don't be complacent. Don't think that you achieved everything. Yes.
Spot on. Hats off to your manager, because I follow the same. I'm a very strict manager, leader, whatever you want to call, and that I challenge people.
Right.
No, why a 5 on 5? Is there no scope for improvement? Can't you get better than this? And I'll ensure that they leave scope for themselves to grow and improve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely. Thanks for sharing. I'm glad to see there are a few other people like me. Anything else on distractions? Well, let's look at the next aspect. Amrit appears after a lot of sustained effort. How does that translate to work? How many times have we thought of giving up something because it is not yielding the results we are expecting? It's resulting in poison and Airavat and Kamdhenu, which that's not my goal. I'm trying to churn something, but it's not leading to where I'm going. I'm going to give up. How many times have we done?
So I have done that, Shanti. So this is 1992 to 94. And I finished my graduation and I get into a stockbroking company, a big stockbroking company. And I'm actually dealing with institutions and stuff like that. But they are traditionally family-run business. So the salary that they're giving me is very, very low. Very low, but I'm learning a lot and it's fantastic. I worked for a couple of years there, and then I decided to quit and to pursue an MBA because I come from a South Indian Tamil family, and unfortunately or fortunately, people say that you need to get more qualifications and blah 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 blah. So I got influenced by that, and then went to my boss and said that I want to leave and I want to do my MBA and all of those things. So you will not believe I was 94, I was 24 years old. And he told me, he was not the founder, he was the founder's cousin. And I worked directly with him. So he told me, listen, if you want to do MBA, you do MBA, but do it part-time, or, go in the evening and do it, but don't leave the organization. Then he said, Saturday, the markets are closed. Our office is open, but you don't have to come on Saturday. You can sit and study. So many options. I said, no, I want to leave. Then he put up his hand and he said, please speak to Devesh, who was the founder of the thing. And they were very, very big. Devesh, whose father was actually the founder. He was a son. He was a chartered accountant. He didn't have to speak to me at all. Because they were worth around 500 crores in 1994 or something.
Wow.
So he didn't have to speak to me, but he'd seen me work and he came and he sat me down and he said, you know what, you have done all the hard work and you have won our trust. Now is the time to reap the rewards of that work that you've done. So don't leave now. Stay with us. I said, no, I have to leave. He said, we will give you a car. You're coming by train from Chembur to, VT, and then you're coming to Marine Lines. We'll give you a car so that you can come by car. I said, no. He gave me so many options, Shanti. He said, we'll book you a flat in your name in 1994. And I said, no. I don't know why I said all of those things. And I declined all those offers and I moved out. And they said, okay, fair enough. That's what you've decided, fair enough. Shanti, if today I had been, I mean, if I had worked another 10 years, I would have been worth 200 crores. You know, but I just feel that these are lessons that life teaches you. The universe wanted me to go through certain struggles and certain things, which is why I just said no. And now when I look back, I feel so foolish sometimes. But then I have no regrets. I think
Life
life
has
spanned
taught
out
you things.
decently.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that
Yes.
awareness itself is so powerful, Anand, that, life was giving me an opportunity at that point in time, which didn't feel like an opportunity.
Correct.
And it came packaged as the poison and the apsaras that
Yes.
distracted me. So, yeah, thank you. Oh, you're getting
And
lots of thumbs ups.
just one more thing. I just made the same mistake again in 2012.
We don't ever learn, do we, Anand?
Yeah. So again, I was working in a department where that department was going to be restructured or something like that, and I was getting an opportunity to work in a very different department, which was a
Hmm.
very elite department. So
Hmm.
I did all my groundwork, and I was planning to move in. So my boss, and he was very senior, he was the president,
Hmm.
and he was about to retire in a year. He said, "Don't go, be with me," and stuff like that. And I kept persisting. I said, "No, no, no, I have to leave." In fact, he spoke to his counterpart in the department that I was going into, the president of that department, and he told that guy, both were Bengalis. So he told that guy that I'm not going to relieve Anand. You take him after a year, after I retire, and all of those things.
Hmm.
But I kept persisting, and I said, no, I have to leave. I got help from other people to convince my boss and all of those things, and it happened.
Hmm.
And that move was actually terrible for me.
Uh,
It was an elite department, but I didn't like it at all.
hmm.
Whereas here, I would have done very, very well for myself, and probably got promoted that the next year, which I didn't get in the new department also. So I think, yeah, we do make these mistakes. We don't see it for what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think being proactive is not great. Uh,
Hurried. Proactive
Hurried,
thinking,
yeah.
reflection, absolutely good, but being hurried and, getting to that quick money, quick designation, quick growth might not be the right answer. Yeah, absolutely. Did I hear somebody else? Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts? Anything else that comes to you?
Just a line that popped up in my head when I was listening to Anand. Vinash kale viprit buddhi.
Yeah.
So it's a very famous saying in Bengali. It's said very often. So that when you're doomed to go that way, your mind completely shuts down.
It's easy to get distracted. You just see one thing as right. You don't see the big picture.
Yes.
You don't see the intention behind. Uh, I used to be very upset with my dad when he would say, you have to sit here only and study, no studying on the bed, or there used to be rules about where you can study and where you can't. And now today modern science talks about all of that as ergonomics. Yeah. That this is how your posture should be. If you don't sit, your back is going to lose its strength, your shoulders are going to lose its shape, and all of that. That time it used to be so irritating, and the moment he would step out, I would literally get up, dance, and go back to doing exactly the opposite of what he would say. uh, Paying the price now. But yeah, vinash kale viprit buddhi. So yeah, one more aspect. When the asuras got hold of the pot of amrit and were lavishly consuming it, and the devas said, okay, uh, the entire purpose, the process is going to get wasted. So Vishnuji assumed the became Mohini and lured the asuras to give away the pot of Amrit uh, to Vishnuji, and he gave it happily to them. Was that fair? If yes, why? If
So if we look at this particular incident in silos, it will seem unfair.
Hmm.
But again, my knowledge of mythology is very limited. So, with that limited knowledge, the Asuras had become very strong.
Yes.
And hence, they had gone to Vishnuji to ask for help. And in trying to restore that balance, is why Vishnuji did this.
Yeah.
So, that is why I said if we look at the story only in silos without the background knowledge of it, it may feel like, no, that was not fair. Then why did you bring them together when you had to favor the other party only?
Yeah.
But, if you know a little bit background, you're like, "Nahi, theek hai, just trying to restore the balance so that the earth survives and we move forward."
Yeah. Equity, and I normally give this example whenever I'm doing D&I workshop, that it is not about equal, it is about equity. You can't say that a 2-month-old baby, a 12-year-old kid, a 20-year-old boy, a 40-year-old man, an 80-year-old adult, and 80-year-old old man. You can't say I will give 2 chapatis to everyone, full stop. I'm being equal and I'm being fair. Doesn't work. Maybe a 2-month doesn't need, a 2-year doesn't need 2 chapatis. 12-year, 20 years, maybe 2 chapatis are not enough for them. Yeah. So I think it's about equity. What is needed when? And that's the role of a leader, to be able to do that rationalization, that balancing who needs what, when, how, what makes it fair. Yeah. But as you rightly said, Akansha.
Completely.
Go ahead, Anand.
Sorry, did I interrupt you, Shan?
No, I was just saying that, not looking at it just without the context does seem unfair. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, just adding to what Akanksha said, and I resonate with that, and especially your analogy of the chapati is absolutely true. So, the DC comic series, I think Spider-Man, it says, with great power comes great responsibility,
Yes.
right? And taking the analogy of cricket, so when Yuvraj Singh was at his, not at his peak, but he was doing really well, he was touted to be the next captain of India. And I was so for him to be the captain of India. Flamboyant guy, great batsman, and all of those things, aggressive attitude.
Yeah.
And actually, Dhoni was in the shadows still then.
Yeah.
But the BCCI decided to make Dhoni the captain instead of Yuvraj. And I remember being so upset about it, and I kind of questioning the great selectors of BCCI who have much more experience than me. How could they even think about it? And it proved to be a master stroke in terms of Dhoni as a captain for the future of Indian cricket. So I think, they need to look at a lot of things which Lord Vishnu did before giving it to the Devas, to look at how are they responsibly going to handle that kind of power and things like that.
Lovely. What tools do all of you use when you have to decide between team A and team B, person A and person B? Who do you give the Amrit to? How do you decide?
Frankly, I go with my gut instinct, which is not, I think I need to use frameworks and stuff like that. But now I'm an independent trainer, so I don't lead a team or anything like that. But while leading small teams and large teams, a lot of times I used to go with my gut, with my thinking of how they would take responsibility, take leadership. And for me, their attitude was very important. In terms of taking or being solution-oriented person. So that's my example. I used to go a lot with my gut and my.
Awesome. What else?
Curiosity to learn new things among the team.
So who has more curiosity to learn?
Yeah.
They get more opportunity. Love that thought. Yeah. Who shows the potential? Who does not rate themselves 5 on 5, but rate themselves as 4 on 5? Means they feel they can improve more. Thank you. Yeah. Potential to learn. What else?
I think in today's world, leaders have to do a lot of things, starting with the whole process of decision making, I guess, starting with SWOT analysis, uh, understanding the cost benefits in making whatever decision they are making, um, the pros and cons, the risks, the positives that they may see soon, and this the six thinking hats always come into picture there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Your ability to think what will work, what will not work, what are the risks, what is going to make people happy, what are the challenges we are going to face. Thinking about all of those is going to help you decide. Wonderful. I'm going to put it as six thinking hats. What else?
While I was quoting this, I read it in this book called CEO Excellence, where they talk about how the role of a CEO is such an isolated role, such a lonely role. They know there are risks. They may know that this may be a good decision, may not be a good decision for the whole organization. And the bread and butter of so many people are lied to their one decision. And that's when a simpler decision also becomes very, very difficult for them.
Complex. True.
And to help them make that decision, they talk about having a peer group to actually criticize you, the people who actually can point a finger towards you and say, you are doing terrible here. Even if it is something which is very personal to them in their personal life. Yeah. There are examples where many CEOs, many renowned CEOs have their spouses in that critics wala group.
Yeah, they believe that they are best equipped to critique without that sense of judgment. They're not going to benefit in any way. Yeah, but they still want all the best for you. Yeah, and that group of advisors, mentors, collaborators typically is called as your board of directors, your imaginary board of directors. So they don't hold any position, but they are the people that you go to say, this is what I'm thinking, feeling, what should I do? And they should be people who should not rally along. They should be people who should nudge you and show you the mirror saying, बेवकूफ लग रहे हो. Otherwise, that board of directors is not effective. Absolutely. Lovely. What else do leaders need so that they can decide which party to support, how to sustain?
One thing I also noticed from the generation before me, many of them had an elder friend. I am Bengali, so I have heard them calling them Da. I mean, whatever the last name is, Mukherjee Da, Chatterjee Da, something like that. And they were maybe a few more years elder to them, little more experienced to them. I have heard them talking about work as well. Not the exact scenario that this is happening, that is happening, not exactly that, but the actual position that the leader is in. And often they will take out, maybe they are not able to make a decision at that point in time, but this support of having a mentor was already there with them. They are able to share the situation a leader is in right now, to help them think through, to help them look at the broader picture so that the leader can make the right decision.
Spot on. Spot on. Mentors and coaches play such an important role. They don't have any stakes in your decision, and hence it enables them to be far more non-judgmental. If you're putting your manager in your mentor position, they have stakes in the same situation. So they may not be as non-judgmental. They will try and give a decision that favors them versus you. So all of those complexities will arise. So yes, mentors are amazing as long as they don't have any stakes with what you're doing. They are just looking at it absolutely impartially, non-judgmentally, and providing advice, recommend.
I think one thing that comes out to me is if the leader has the foresight that this is what I am trying to achieve by this, then I can take the correct decision, yeah, that yes, this is the person or this is the team who should get the Amrit.
Yeah. So clarify.
clarity. If I myself don't have that, what do I expect from them in the future, then I don't think I'm the right person to take the decision.
Yeah, clarity on what am I seeking, wanting from this. What am I wanting at the end of this? That allows us to take the right decisions, right side. If not, is there any aspect of the story that you think we've not yet spoken about, touched? I would share the feedback screen. Would really love for you all to provide feedback in terms of how you experienced the session. Any key takeaways that you would want to share. Happy to hear and see what was this helpful, useful, what did you take away. Happy to hear from you. Shanti, this was scrap is also fine. Let me please.
So where do I put the feedback on the chat? Is it Shanti?
You could unmute and speak. If you can see the screen, the QR code. I would love for you to speak. That's just a Google feedback. So you could present it.
I am not able to see the screen, the QR code. So I'll just speak.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So yeah, I came in late, but I had attended a session of yours earlier, which you did for Priyanka.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, and it was brilliant. I love the way you structure your programs. I love the way you ask very insightful questions, and which kind of segues into the next, area that you want to speak about. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. I love it.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, even in that last session, I couldn't complete the session. I think I attended some 1.5, 2 hours, and then Teja was coming to my place, so I had to move out to meet him. And here I am, I think 20 minutes late into the program. Yeah.
No, but
But
we'll share
just
the
love it.
recording, so you will
Right.
get to listen to what you missed.
Yeah, so I just love it, the way you kind of segue, the way you ask questions. Uh, I just feel so involved. I just feel so, and again, hearing because of the participation, the insights that I get from the sharing of different participants, all of the team here, it's fabulous. It's great learning, Shanti. So kudos to all of us here and to you, of course, for leading the way and to kind of lead us in that direction where we could actually ponder, where we could question. It's very, so I like the pace at also which you talk and which you go about. It's not rushed. We actually can take a breath. We actually can ponder on the questions that you ask. So it's beautiful. It's fantastic, Shanti.
That is so humbling to hear. The intent of this particular one, the series itself is to really slow down and think and reflect. There is no hurry. There is no agenda. There are no slides. It's just thinking and reflection, and based on some aspect of the story, one question after the other. It's just free flow, and I'm glad you experienced it as appropriately placed for you to think and reflect. Thank you.
Most welcome. Best wishes.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? Any other praises? I'm all ears.
Anand, I've shared the feedback code, the QR code in the chat, so you can pick it up from there.
If there are no further comments, I look forward to meeting all of you in the next. Take care. Once upon a leader, always a leader. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Shanti.